Hi students, welcome back to our online biology classroom. Our first chapter, Protectors of Biosphere. Today we will discuss how oxygen is released during photosynthesis. It's very important experiment. You have to draw the diagram and learn the experiment. Materials required for the experiments are algae, beaker, bottle filled with water, funnel, test tube. Place some algae inside the beaker. Cover it with funnel. Fill the beaker with water. Place a test tube filled with water onto the funnel. Place the beaker under the sunlight for 1 or 2 hours. We can see some air bubbles at the tip of the funnel and the test tube. It shows the presence of oxygen in the plant. So, we can conclude that a plant is a small oxygen factory. Let's recall our portions once again. First, we discussed about global warming. The reason for global warming is the increase in the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Next, we discussed about oxygen-carbon dioxide balance in atmosphere. The plants utilize carbon dioxide and release oxygen, which is taken by the living organism. The living organism releases carbon dioxide, which is a cycling process, and the product obtained during this process is a glucose, and this glucose is stored in the form of ATP molecules in mitochondria. Next, we discussed about different types of pigments in the chloroplast. Chlorophyll A imparts bluish green in color, chlorophyll B yellowish green, carotene yellowish orange, xanthophyll yellow in color. Here, chlorophyll B, carotene and xanthophyll are called the accessory pigments, as these three pigments absorb the sunlight and transfer to chlorophyll A. Next, we discussed about the structure of the chloroplast. The chloroplast contains two membranes, outer membrane and inner membrane. Inside the membrane, it is filled with a fluid called stroma. In the stroma, a membranous sacs are arranged one above the another, which is called the grana. Our next topic is the phases of photosynthesis, which has two phases, light phase and dark phase. Light phase take place in the grana of the chloroplast and dark phase take place in the stroma of chloroplast. In the light phase, light is used. Here, water splits and oxygen is released and hydrogen moves to the stroma. Here, light energy is converted to chemical energy and it is stored in ATP molecule. Next phase is the dark phase. In the dark phase, light is not needed. Here, energy in ATP is used to combine hydrogen and carbon dioxide and produce glucose as a product. Here, you can write the difference between light phase and dark phase. The dark phase is also called Calvin cycle, as it was discovered by Melvin Calvin. Next, we discussed about the chemical changes that take place in the glucose. The glucose is easily soluble in water, that it cannot be stored in the plant body. So, the plant store glucose in the form of insoluble starch in the leaves. Starch is later converted to sucrose and it is transported through phloem to various plant parts and it is stored in different forms such as starch, example tuber, protein, legumes, in the form of fat, example oilseed, fructose, example fruits, sucrose, sugarcane. Next, we discussed about some of the economic important products such as coffee, rubber, pepper and cocoa. Next, we discussed about ocean at par with land. Here, about 70 to 80% of oxygen in the atmosphere is contributed by algae and phytoplanktons present in the sea. Lastly, we discussed how plants act as the Earth's wealth. The plants serve as the cheapest, effective, and natural means for the purification of air. By absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and releasing oxygen, the plants provide invaluable services to the living world. The plants also have a major role in the mitigation of natural disasters. Example, mangrove forest and vetiver. The green plants are the protectors of biosphere. Hence, for the conservation of nature, nurturing of plants should be considered as one's prime responsibility. Our first chapter is over. Learn your portions well. Get ready for the online exam. Thank you. Meet you soon.